Hi, hello, mabuhay. Welcome back to another episode of Krista's Curiosity. And if you've been following along for this season, you know that I have been doing a little series about artists, art curators, and everything that's happening in the art and culture and fashion scene in Seattle right now. And if you can tell, we are not in studio, which I am really thankful for my guests for letting us use the space at Railspur in Pioneer Square. But yes, this is a second out of studio recording, which I'm very excited about with my guest here, who is the marketing and communications manager for the Alliance at Pioneer Square, Angela Nguyen. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Krista. Thanks for having me. Yes, my name is Angela. I'm the marketing and comms manager at the Alliance, and I'm so excited to be here and talk to you today.
Can you give a little more about like your background with the Alliance, or like, are you an artist yourself, a creative?
Yeah, so I have been with the Alliance for about 2.5 years. I am not a traditional artist, but I am a dancer. So, I mean,
That counts.
That's a form of art, so a movement artist. So I love the job that I do and the work that I get to do, and being able to kind of use my background in movement and dance and kind of being a part of the art scene here, especially in Pioneer Square where it's thriving and where it's all over, we can see it. And so, yeah, it's been a really fun experience to get to work here.
Can you give a little bit more about like what the Alliance does in relation to the Pioneer Art Walk?
Of course. So the Alliance for Pioneer Square is a nonprofit, and we support the general community here in Pioneer Square. So the businesses, we support the residents, the property owners and managers, and just the folks that come and visit and explore and play in Pioneer Square. So our work is to both revitalize and preserve what makes Pioneer Square unique and such a dynamic neighborhood. So as many people know, it is the first neighborhood, but there's so much history here in Pioneer Square, and that's the work that the Alliance does.
Yay! I feel like I only started to get involved or start to hear more about like the art walk here in Pioneer Square last year, which we'll dive more into, because like, why do you think like 2025 was like a big year for this scene to be popping up in Pioneer Square?
Yeah, so a bit of background about Art Walk. Art Walk, the Pioneer Square First Thursday Art Walk started in the early 80s, and it was actually the very first art walk in the nation. So it started when a group of gallery owners came together to curate this map and experience for folks to come out and explore the neighborhood and explore the galleries. So it's been going on ever since. And really, it's been taking off in the last few years, especially since I started working here. I've noticed, and I think a lot of people have noticed, especially during the warmer summer months, this energy that is really new and exciting here in Pioneer Square. And First Thursday has just been so fun to see blossom. Something that we've been tracking is foot traffic numbers, which always really interesting to me. But this past summer, we've tracked that our foot traffic from First Thursday Art Walks have surpassed what they were pre-COVID, which is really exciting. So yeah, just seeing that those numbers rebound has been really awesome. And just new folks who have never been to Art Walk exploring it for the first time and exploring and experiencing Pioneer Square possibly for the first time, or if it's been a while since they've been here, they're kind of rediscovering the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of like foot traffic, when me and Moss had like done a not interview, but like just met with you virtually, you had mentioned that the demographic is like varies too. Like a lot of like older and also like younger people come out. And I think that's something new, at least, because when we were interviewing like Amy, that should have been a question I asked Amy, like kind of what the demographic was for like Belltown Art Walk. But that's nice to know that there's a lot of people like just coming out.
Yeah. So we've always noticed a very diverse range of folks coming out to First Thursday Art Walk, but I think more so recently, it's definitely been a lot of a younger demographic. I think, like I mentioned, people discovering First Thursday Art Walk for the first time here in the neighborhood. And there's been kind of a emerging fashion scene that's been growing. And I think that has also attracted a lot of new folks. And that's been really exciting to see. One thing that I think is really gravitating to the younger demographic about First Thursday Art Walk is the fact that it is like a third space for people. So it is a space where people can come in and, you know, come with their group of friends, dress up, take photos and videos, and enjoy art, and, you know, grab a drink or food. And it's become like this all afternoon, evening experience. It's not just isolated to like a few hours. They do spend quite a bit of time here on First Thursday. So it's been really cool to see like how things have grown and things have kind of shifted over the last few years.
It definitely feels like a more accessible and like welcoming space, because all of my friends who have gone have definitely recommended it. And like whenever I see them post on their stories, it's not just about the same thing. It's either about like the fashion scene or like the art that they see, the food, the matcha, the music too. I feel like there's people outside sometimes that'll play like live jazz. And I feel like that's something new and emerging that's happening.
Yeah, it's so exciting because I think the traditional idea of like a art walk is gallery spaces, which are still very much present. And there's a really great concentration of galleries here in the neighborhood, but there's also a lot of pop-ups that happen. The live music venues here will have special art walk shows. There's all different types of ways to enjoy art here. The fashion scene, like we mentioned, has been really exciting to see. Some of the shops here are becoming these really great center points for folks to come in. One shop that comes to mind is Frida. If you've ever been to Frida on a First Thursday, you would know it is such a great space and so many well-dressed people, but also just all different types of fashion. So I think that that's one of those things that I've heard can be a little bit intimidating for people, where they're like, everyone's so well dressed here. But truly, it's just a display of all different types of styles. So you never have to feel like, you know, you're underdressed or anything like that, because everyone is welcomed.
Yeah, and speaking more to the fashion scene, I feel like, again, Seattle doesn't get like a rep for that. So I'm really glad to see that we are kind of starting to enter that scene, whereas like more metropolitan, bustling, popular cities have been like the staple, but like not that we're catching up to it, but we have like a different form of it in Seattle.
Yes, I've heard that like all my life. I've grown up in Seattle, and I've always hear that like people from Seattle are not fashionable, and I do not agree. Because
I don't agree with that.
If you walk around Pioneer Square for a few hours, you'll see so many like interesting styles out there, all different types of people. And I think that First Thursday Art Walk is just a great like display of that all happening in one night.
What was, what am I trying to say? Like, I guess what made it successful now compared to like pre-COVID, I'd say? Like what are the big transformations that you personally see that makes it successful now?
I think there's a lot of factors involved, but I think one of the things that come to mind is that people are craving that sense of community and third spaces, and especially First Thursday Art Walk, and I think most art walks or majority of art walks are free. So there's not that barrier of entry of having to pay an admission or a ticket to enjoy an event with friends. And I think that sense of community that you experience on a First Thursday is part of the reason why people are so gravitated to it. And I would say that I think just having so many different variety of activities to do. So going to galleries, going to pop-ups, grabbing matcha, like you mentioned, shopping. I think that is a very interesting thing for people to enjoy, because you're not going just for one activity. You can do so many different things in one night.
You mentioned how the warmer seasons tend to have like the most foot traffic, or like when people are most attracted to the art walk. Do you have like a favorite like thing to do at the art walk, or like a favorite art walk from the summer from last year?
I cannot choose a favorite. I think the summer months are really nice because obviously not having to hold an umbrella and kind of like dodging
Have a
puddles.
puffer.
Yes, the puffer. You have your whole outfit out on display. But I think the summers are really nice just because everyone is, wanting to come outside, wanting something to do on a Thursday evening. And in the winter months, I think folks here in Seattle kind of are a little bit more reclusive. It's a natural tendency for us to want to be more inside. So I will say that winter months for First Thursday art walks are nice because it definitely feels cozier.
Yeah.
And I think people are taking the time to go inside of businesses, maybe businesses that they haven't normally explored much of, or galleries they haven't seen. So kind of more time inside rather than hanging out outside. So that is also nice as well. So it's kind of a different vibe, but all great the same way.
Are there like different cozy activities, or like you spoke to vibes, but more like what do you guys do to help those like reclusive Seattleites come out during these cold months?
Yeah. So one thing that the Alliance does in support of Art Walk is that we curate a map to help people explore the neighborhood. So one thing I should mention is that the unique thing about First Thursday Art Walk in Pioneer Square is that it is a completely organic event. And what that means is that there's no single organizer that creates all these events that happen. It's the business community, it's the galleries, it's the folks in the neighborhood themselves that are producing these events and programming. So the role of the Alliance is to just collect all of that together and help communicate that and help promote the events happening. And one of the ways, like I mentioned, is we do a map, which is very helpful because that changes every month. So it can be hard to know exactly where to go each month. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the tools that we have to help people kind of get out more and explore. And I think the organic nature of Art Walk is also really interesting because it is something that happens without, needing too much promotion. It just continues to happen, and it will continue to happen long after the Alliance is here. So yeah, I think that's also really cool because it changes and you kind of never know what you're going to expect month to month.
Aside from Frida, what are some recommended like gallery spaces or fashion spots that you would recommend to like viewers to check out during First Thursday Art Walk?
I think one of the spots that I love going to each month is this building. It's called the TK building. I think not many folks know the name of the building, but it's near City Hall Park, and it's near some of the longer standing galleries in the neighborhood like Foster White and Greg Kucera Gallery. So it's a building that contains multiple galleries in there and artist spaces and artist lofts. So it's a really cool spot to go where you can hit multiple different places all in one go. And it's in a whole block, and it's just fun to explore there, walk around. And I think that that's a really great place to go. One of my favorite galleries within that space is called Hologram.
Yes,
and
you recommended them.
Yeah, I love Hologram, and they have really interesting exhibitions that happen. Also, Method Gallery is a really cool spot as well. I think they have more experiential installations and art pieces. So yeah, I would recommend checking out the TK building. It's a little harder to find, but once you are there, you're like, oh, everything's here. So
it's a scavenger hunt, guys.
Exactly. So the TK building is great. I also am a really big fan of Europa Gallery, which sits in a venue space called Court in the Square. So they have really awesome programming. They'll do a variety of things. They'll have live music. They have, for this upcoming Art Walk in March, a breakdancing competition that's going to be happening there, while they have also exhibitions going on. So it's kind of a cool space to see all different types of art being shown.
Alex behind the camera got excited
Oh,
because he likes to do a lot of dance. And he also
awesome.
got excited when you mentioned you have a background in dance.
Oh, that's awesome. Yay.
Okay, wrapping up on like last two questions. Because you come from like a dance background, like are there any like more dance related like workshops or activities that you want to see Art Walk kind of incorporate more of?
I would love to see more dance being represented in Art Walk here, but there are some spaces that will host some events, but not that I've seen for specifically for Art Walk, but I think we could make it happen.
I hope you guys can make it
Yeah.
happen. But okay, a final question I wrap up with every guest I've interviewed this season is what do you think should Seattle do like better in terms of like either policy or just like space and creation for more art to be like accessible and like free and like just to the public?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think Pioneer Square is such a unique and important neighborhood in the city of Seattle. I mean, all of our neighborhoods are important, but specifically Pioneer Square being a historic preservation district, we are we are still recovering post COVID, and a lot of the businesses are still recovering. So I think my wish would be a little more concentrated effort in helping us to continue our work here and getting folks back into work on a 9 to 5 basis, daytime workers here. I think that would be really important. Also, I think in Pioneer Square we have public art all around. One thing you'll notice walking around the neighborhood is the murals. Yes, the murals on our streets. They were curated by Forest for the Trees, which is a really awesome nonprofit based here in Pioneer Square. So I think just any support and funding to continue that program and to continue similar programs would be amazing.
Okay, well, if you have any last things to say about the Art Walk, I will let you talk again.
Yeah, so First Thursday Art Walk happens every first Thursday of the month. It's completely free. There are changing programs each month, so the best way to know what's going on is to either check out our website, pioneersquare.org, or visit the Instagram at Pioneer Square, which we update on a daily basis. So those are the two main resources for any Art Walk news or just to know what's going on in the neighborhood. I would highly recommend checking us out if you can.
Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you again, Angela, for letting me interview you today.
Thank you so much, Krista.